Well, good morning, everybody. This is Hiro again, up and early, it's not even 7 yet. And I'm going to be shooting the Pine series, Pine Niwaki. Well, we're at the tail end of May. Some of this is a little bit on the late side, but it's been very difficult to shoot these videos. It's been hot, and I think I told you before, I had to wear a long sleeve to work on the pines because when the needles poke me, I get a rash. Anyway, it's early, it's going to be cooler today, and hopefully cloudy. The bright sun makes it very difficult to shoot a decent video. The wind is not helping either because the mic picks it up and then it gives you this funny sound, right? Anyway, so a lot of these principles I have to repeat over and over so you finally get it. One of the first things we want to do when we approach is to look at the balance of the energy. Okay, what I mean by that is you see up on top the center candle is very, very strong. As we go down, it's not as vigorous. That means that this one is slightly out of balance in that it's bigger up on top. Minor corrections. All you have to do is make sure you prune the top no matter what. Basically, what happens is the center candle comes out very strong, so remove it completely. See this one here? Remove it completely. All the center candles. There's hardly ever a time when you want to save the center candle. So 99% of the time, remove the center candle. Here's another one. Okay? So basically, after you do that, the secondary gets cut so that they stay short. And just repeat over and over again till you're done. Okay, now today it's about getting the job done quickly because I'm behind schedule again. So you could take one of these and remove the center candle. This one definitely needs to be removed. Okay, now normally we cut these, right? So it stays short. But if you're trying to make it bigger, you save this one of the side branches, and then that becomes the new leader, so that it has that movement and also the taper. And just go down the line. So when I'm behind like I am again, this is all I do. Make sure the top gets taken care of, or it will easily reverse taper. So I gotta. The other day there was a question about somebody having a 35-year-old tree in the ground, and how do we go about shaping it? Very difficult. It's not something for amateurs. In fact, most of the time, if I'm asked to shape something that's been in the ground with absolutely no training, I usually turn it down because it requires so many years of training And then initially you got to go through this period where you really take it down to bareness, and in the landscape it's just not tolerable. Okay, so ignore the weeds, but you could see that the Niwaki is very seldom straight up, but a normal tree is planted straight up. But one of the first things we do when we try to grow a Niwaki is to do a slight slant, so we get this movement. And so if it's been in the ground and it goes straight up and has multiple lines, it's almost impossible to get it corrected and then make it into a Niwaki bonsai or Niwaki tree. So yeah, generally I turn it down because, you know, they want me to come out and work miracles. Well, there is no miracle. It's been a number of years. Well, this one here is probably 35, maybe getting close to 40, and started from the beginning as a Niwaki. So yes. And oh yeah, those of you that have been following me a long time, you know, Dale did that big tree that was so neglected. Well, the reason he was able to do it because it had the basic form. So all he had to do was take out the stuff that was neglected, but the basic form was in there. So if you have one that has never been trained, it's nearly impossible. Remove the center candle and shorten these. I had this wicked idea. I wonder if I should just take a head shear to this, which is usually not the way to do it, but you know, I'm getting lower in inventory, but I still got dozens of these things to do. And well, if I knew for sure somebody was interested in buying, I would take my time and do these carefully. But right now it's a matter of survival. Don't let these center candles get out of hand and ruin the shape. So anyway, that's what I've got to do today. I'm going to do a bunch of them. Yeah, it would be better if I just brought out my ladder and did these by hand. But like I was saying, I got a lot of these to do and so many other chores that I just want to make sure that this does not get out of hand. And if somebody does show interest, I will take my time and detail it out more. Okay, here's another one here. You can see that energy is balanced fairly well. It's, once again, the top is a little bit more vigorous, so I should get up there and take care of it. Well, this one here is one that was neglected last year, so I'm going to take it down one notch. Oh yeah, the other thing we have to do around here is our weather is so hot and intense sunlight that I have to keep a lot of the foliage, keep the trunk protected. The sun sets that way, right? And so I do have most of my things sort of placed so that I have things that will prevent the setting sun from hitting the trunk. But basically I have to keep these very thick in terms of the foliage or the needle, just because of our weather. Now, a number of my trees have gone to the Bay Area, which is much cooler. And they do stylize it more. They open up so you could actually see the trunk. But I can't do that here because of the intensity of the setting sun. Okay, so quick trim, remove the center candle. 99% of the time that will do it. And like this one here came up beyond. There's another cluster here, so I could do that. Now, you know, as you've been watching these videos, it's very difficult to understand what I'm talking about, right? Well, don't worry. That's why it's so difficult to teach. They said there's, what, 50 some odd techniques depending on what you're trying to accomplish. And I was trying to figure out what they meant, and I couldn't figure that out either. There was one written that was fairly good, and they tried to explain 12 techniques, and I couldn't understand that. Well, it's very difficult to verbalize what we're having to do, right? So, well, if you get to working on hundreds of these, then you start to understand what's happening. But doesn't mean it's easy to explain what I've done. I've been doing a lot of this automatically, right? Because I see when I cut like this, what happens in the future. But why? I don't know. I'll have to sit down and think about it. A lot of this is so automatic. Well, I told you about Mr. Yamashita who gave me the start in this, and then Mr. Murata, I never did figure out whether he conned me or I conned him. But anyway, he let me prune like 100 of them that he got from a nursery. So anyway, that's how I got started, is to just keep practicing. So the person that said they have a 35-year-old tree, well, good luck to you. Okay, so it's not bad, but it's not perfect either. But I'm not after perfect at this time, because I just got a whole bunch of these to do. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Basically, what I did with these two trees, all I have to do is repeat it, 3 or 4 dozen left. So anyway, this is Hiro saying goodbye. I'll see you again real soon in another chapter. This has been the pine pruning in end of May.